Best Actress in a Supporting Role. And the nominees are Marisa Tomei in, and the Oscar goes to Marisa Tomei in My Cousin Vinny.
Picture this. It's 1993 and Hollywood's biggest night is unfolding at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. The envelope crinkles in Jack Palance's weathered hands. Inside, a name that would spark 3 decades of whispered conspiracies, heated debates, and one of Tinseltown's most enduring urban legends. Marisa Tomei. Those 2 words detonated like a shockwave through the entertainment industry. Not because they were wrong, but because they dared to be different. In 30 seconds, a relatively unknown actress had shattered Hollywood's unwritten rules about who deserves its highest honor. But what happened next would prove far more fascinating than the win itself. This is the untold story of how a single moment at the Academy Awards became a battleground between old Hollywood traditions and new possibilities. It's about the power of doubt, the weight of bias, and one woman's quiet refusal to let fiction overshadow fact. The Academy Awards ceremony of 1993 resembled a perfectly choreographed ballet, until it didn't. Marisa Tomei's victory for My Cousin Vinny landed like a meteorite in a tea party, disrupting decades of predictable patterns. Consider the landscape. Her fellow nominees read like a who's who of dramatic royalty. Judy Davis, Joan Plowright, Vanessa Redgrave, and Miranda Richardson, each representing the kind of serious, weighty performances that traditionally swept award season. These were actresses delivering Shakespeare, period dramas, and profound human tragedies. Then came Tomei, armed with nothing but a Brooklyn accent, automotive expertise, and comedic timing so sharp it could cut glass. The reaction was swift and telling. Industry insiders didn't just express surprise, they expressed something closer to cultural vertigo. How could the Academy's sacred voting process produce such an unexpected result? The question revealed more about Hollywood's prejudices than about Tomei's worthiness. Legends need more than truth to survive. They need believers. The theory that Jack Palance had mistakenly announced the wrong winner possessed all the ingredients of an irresistible Hollywood fable. An aging presenter, a shocking upset, and the tantalizing possibility of institutional cover-up. The story evolved like a game of telephone played across decades. Initially, it was simple confusion about an unexpected winner. Then it became whispered speculation about a presenter's error. Finally, it crystallized into a full-blown conspiracy theory, suggesting the Academy had knowingly allowed a mistake to stand rather than face public embarrassment. Entertainment media became unwitting accomplices in this mythology. Trade publications, gossip columns, and even respected entertainment journalists kept the narrative alive, often presenting it as established fact rather than baseless speculation. The story had everything readers craved: scandal, intrigue, and the delicious possibility that Hollywood's most prestigious moment had been built on deception. What made this particular myth so durable was how it tapped into existing biases. Many couldn't accept that comedy deserved the same recognition as drama. Others struggled with the idea that a relative newcomer could triumph over established stars. The theory provided a comfortable explanation for an outcome that challenged conventional wisdom. Pricewaterhouse, the accounting firm managing Oscar ballots, repeatedly explained their foolproof system. 2 accountants stationed on opposite sides of the stage, each holding duplicate envelopes. If any error occurred, immediate correction was mandated. No correction happened because no error existed. Yet facts proved powerless against a story people wanted to believe.
when someone's has an Oscar, the first thing I start thinking is like, where physically is the Oscar? I picture you always having it on you, you know, that you have a special carrying case made of like the finest leather, and you carry it with you, and you don't let it out of your sight.
No, I actually didn't even have mine in my apartment until recently. I had it in, well, that's because I kept moving.
Was it like in your garage or something?
No, I didn't even have a garage. Yeah. I didn't have an apartment. I kept moving around. I had it in the bank, in a safe deposit box there. And then they called me like 2 months ago because the branch was closing. And I had to go get it out, and I went.
It's a you know. How we threw that out.
No, but they remembered me because I forgot my ID when I went to get it. But they said, we know it's you. So.
The conspiracy theory surrounding Tomei's win became a fascinating study in how myths sustain themselves despite evidence. It revealed the entertainment industry's unconscious hierarchies, the invisible ladder that placed dramatic performances above comedic ones, established stars above newcomers, and certain types of storytelling above others. Entertainment Weekly's retrospective analysis captured the essence perfectly. Audiences couldn't fathom that Academy voters would choose a comedic performance over what they perceived as more serious artistic achievements. This reaction illuminated deep-seated cultural assumptions about what constitutes real acting. The myth persisted because it served multiple purposes. For skeptics, it explained away an outcome they found difficult to accept. For media, it provided endless material for speculation and debate. For industry traditionalists, it preserved their belief system about artistic merit and awards worthiness. Tomei found herself in an impossible position. Defending her win too vigorously would appear defensive and insecure. Ignoring the controversy completely might suggest guilt or indifference. She chose a middle path, acknowledging the hurt while refusing to dignify unfounded theories with extensive rebuttals. The actress later reflected on this period with characteristic grace. It was painful, but I understood it wasn't really about me. It was about people's comfort zones and expectations. Her response demonstrated remarkable emotional intelligence, recognizing that the controversy revealed more about others' limitations than her own achievements. For nearly 3 decades, Marisa Tomei carried the weight of other people's doubts with remarkable dignity. She continued working, choosing diverse roles, and letting her body of work speak louder than any defense of her Oscar win could. When she finally addressed the controversy directly in recent interviews, her words carried the authority of someone who had weathered the storm and emerged stronger. "I was genuinely shocked it wouldn't disappear," she revealed. "You assume these things blow over, but this one seemed to have eternal life." Her honesty about the emotional impact was striking. Despite her professional success, the persistent questioning of her legitimacy had taken its toll. "The hardest part wasn't the doubt itself," she explained, "but the implication that my work didn't matter. That somehow I had stumbled into recognition I hadn't earned." What emerges from her recent interviews is not bitterness, but clarity. She understood that the controversy was never really about her performance or the voting process. It was about an industry grappling with its own evolving standards and struggling to expand its definition of worthy art. Her response to decades of speculation was beautifully simple. "I'm proud of that performance. I'm proud of that character. I'm proud of that win. No elaborate defenses, no angry rebuttals, just quiet confidence in work well done." To understand why Tomei's victory sparked such intense reaction, we must examine what made her performance in My Cousin Vinny extraordinary. Mona Lisa Vito wasn't just comic relief. She was a fully realized character who happened to be funny. Tomei's approach was revolutionary in its restraint. Rather than playing for laughs, she played for truth. Her Mona Lisa was sharp, knowledgeable, and unapologetically confident, traits that comedy often exaggerates into caricature. Instead, Tomei grounded these characteristics in authentic human behavior.
Do you always trust your own instincts?
No, I wouldn't say that I trust I try to listen to my instincts and first figure out what I'm really feeling about something.
Right.
And sometimes it's in contrast to what the people, my agents are maybe thinking might be right for me, but luckily they're pretty honest with me. So.
The famous courtroom scene where she explains automotive differentials became legendary, not just because it was funny, but because it was believable. Legal experts have since praised My Cousin Vinny as one of the most accurate legal comedies ever filmed, and Tomei's testimony scenes were crucial to that credibility. Director Jonathan Lynn recognized what Tomei brought to the role. She never let you see her working. The comedy looked effortless, but that's the hardest comedy to achieve, the kind that feels completely natural. This naturalistic approach distinguished her performance from typical comedic supporting roles of that era. Tomei prepared extensively, studying real courtroom proceedings and observing how confident women navigate male-dominated spaces. She understood that Mona Lisa's strength came not from being loud or outrageous, but from being unshakably certain of her own worth and knowledge. The character represented something relatively rare in early 1990s cinema. A working-class woman who was both funny and formidable, sexy and smart, supportive yet independent. Tomei played all these facets without compromising any of them. 3 decades later, Marisa Tomei's Oscar win stands as more than just a single evening surprise. It became a watershed moment that forced Hollywood to examine its own assumptions about artistic merit and awards worthiness. The controversy revealed uncomfortable truths about industry bias. It showed how quickly achievement could be questioned when it didn't fit established patterns. It demonstrated the power of persistent doubt to overshadow documented fact. Most importantly, it highlighted the additional scrutiny faced by performers who dared to excel in genres traditionally considered lesser. Tomei's subsequent career proved her critics spectacularly wrong. Her diverse filmography, spanning independent dramas, Marvel blockbusters, and everything in between, demonstrated the range and skill that voters recognized in 1993. Each strong performance served as retroactive vindication of that controversial win. The myth also inadvertently elevated My Cousin Vinny itself. What began as a modest legal comedy became a cultural phenomenon, studied in law schools and celebrated by critics who initially dismissed it. The conspiracy theory, meant to diminish Tomei's achievement, ultimately drew more attention to the very performance it questioned. Perhaps most significantly, the controversy became a cautionary tale about the dangers of assumption and bias in artistic evaluation. It showed how quickly excellence could be dismissed when it arrived in unexpected packaging. Today, the question isn't whether Marisa Tomei deserved her Oscar. It's why it took so long for people to recognize the obvious. Her performance in My Cousin Vinny has only grown in stature over time, while the dramatic roles she defeated have largely faded from cultural memory. The persistence of the conspiracy theory says nothing about Tomei's worthiness and everything about Hollywood's struggle to evolve. It reflects an industry that was slow to recognize that great acting can emerge from any genre, that newcomers can deliver career-defining performances, and that comedy requires just as much skill as drama. Tomei's grace under pressure became perhaps her greatest performance of all. She refused to be defined by others' doubts, never allowed controversy to diminish her confidence, and continued creating memorable characters across 3 decades of film and television. The accounting firm confirmed the accuracy. The Academy stood by the results. The critics eventually came around. The only thing that needed correcting was the assumption that somehow, some way, this brilliant actress didn't belong among the winners. In the end, Marisa Tomei didn't just win an Oscar that night in 1993. She earned it, kept it, and proved she deserved it again and again. The real mystery isn't how she won, but why anyone ever doubted she should have. The statue sits not in a bank vault anymore, but in her home. A permanent reminder that sometimes the most surprising victories are also the most deserved ones. And sometimes, the best response to doubt is simply to keep being excellent. That's the truth behind Hollywood's most persistent myth. There never was a mistake. There was only recognition, finally given where recognition was due.
If you like the video, please like and subscribe. We hope to see you again soon.